Welcome back everybody to another video. In this video we have a Lexus RX330, I believe. Yeah, sounds about right. We're gonna do brakes all the way around. I'm gonna take you through step by step. Let's get into it. Step 1, lift up the vehicle and take the wheels off. The front rotors are Auto Specialty JBR 1152 using power stop pads. They're the Z17 Evolution Plus ceramics, and it's 17-1005 for the front. Part number for the rear is 17-996. Take the cap off the master cylinder so that when you compress your calipers, the fluid and air can come out. Jam a big flathead in here and pull out to partially compress the caliper, just enough to make it easy to come off. Use a 14mm to remove these two bolts here. Use zip tie or a wire to hang the caliper on there. Pop the brake pads out, throw these in the trash, and then pop these little metal clips out with a flathead screwdriver. Use a 17mm to pull out this bolt and the one above it, and then that will let this bracket come off. So when you take those bolts out, this thing's going to fall off. And then you just pull the rotor off. If the rotor's stuck, hit it with a hammer and it should come loose. You just throw this thing in the trash. You're going to pull these pins out like so. You're going to take some ceramic lubricant, put it on the pin, put it in, wiggle it up and down a few times so it slides freely. You're going to grab two of these clips. You're going to do them one at a time. You have these grooves here, and you have these little fingers here. Those go on the inside. And then you just use a little flathead screwdriver and you push them into the groove. When you're done, it should look like this. Now we're going to put this bracket back on. Use brake cleaner, spray off both sides of the rotor because it comes shipped with a oily protective cover. They spray it with oil before they package them so they don't rust. But you need to get that off. Once you have the new rotor on here, you're going to reverse all the steps that you just did to take the rotor off. Starting with the bracket, then the brake pads with the little clips that pop in, where you pop those clips out, put the brake pads, put the rotor, and then you're done. And then you go on the other side, do the same steps, and now we're going to hit the back, and I'm going to show you how to do the back. So these are old style brakes. The e-brake is not part of the caliper, so you can do the screwdriver trick again to compress the caliper. The e-brake is inside here, and this is like a mini drum. So hopefully it's not worn enough to where there's a groove and I can't pull this out. If it is, then I pull this little plug out, and there's a little adjuster you have to flick with a baby screwdriver. You just practice like in the bedroom. You flick it, flick it. Now use a 14mm wrench. Take the two bolts out of the caliper and move the caliper out of the way, just sort of over here. Use a 17 to remove the two nuts that hold this bracket on, just like you did on the front, 17mm. Right here's the adjuster. When you pull out the little rubber thing, you spin it until this lines up there. So if you can't get the rotor off, which my rotor came off, so it's not a big deal, but I might not be able to get the rotor back on depending on how much wear. So then you'll spin this to shrink and bring the pads closer together so that you can either get it on or off. The rotors are Auto Specialty JBR 1153 for the rear. They're both the same. Spray both sides of the rotor with brake cleaner to get the oil protective covering they put onto the rotor during storage and shipment. Steal this little rubber plug and put it into the new rotor. Pop out the old clips, pop in these new clips, And at this point, you're just going to reverse all the steps that you did to take it apart. Make sure you put some grease on these pins before you put them back in, because you want some fresh, high-quality grease in there. And then you're going to do all the same steps on the other side of your vehicle. I'd like to thank everybody for checking out another Fat Guy Builds. Hopefully this saved you some money. If it did, hit me up on Patreon for $1 a month. Please, I'm begging you. Like, share, subscribe. Till next time, wrench on.